What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today I'm coming at you with learning how to play the galaxy-photon deck thing. And let me tell you, I am absolutely not a fan of this deck. I do not dig it. I thought I would. Turns out I was horribly wrong. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into this deck profile. So, Galaxy Eyes, Photon, Galaxy things. Essentially, they just make some rank 8s. There's a kind of funny play you can do with Numeron Dragon with Draglubian, but that's the most interesting thing this deck has got, really, and it focuses around Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, so we'll go over it first. It's a level 8 light attribute dragon with 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense, can be special summoned from the hand by tributing 2 monsters with 2,000 or more attack. And during the battle phase, if it battles an opponent's monster, it can banish itself and that monster. They return during the end phase, and if you banish the Xyz monster, Galaxy Eyes will gain 500 attack points for each Xyz material that it lost because it was banished. Everything kinda revolves around this. You don't really use it for any of its effects. You mostly use it because it's a name, honestly, but it's fine, I guess. We also have a newer support card with Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon. If you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can special it from hand, and when it's detached from a monster as Xyz material, you can special summon a Galaxy Eyes from hand or grave or the deck, and it doubles the attack of all number Xyz monsters for that turn. So, this is honestly a really cool support card. It really does brick if you can't get a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon on the field, though, so just keep that in mind. But it's a very good sort of playmaker. Then we have Galaxy Knight, who can be normal summoned if you control a Galaxy or Photon monster without tributing, and when it's normal summoned, if it was done so without tribute, it will lose 1,000 attack. Also, when it's summoned, you can special summon a Galaxy Eyes from your graveyard. Yeah, this basically just lets you make more rank 8s. That's what it does, but it's a good recovery card, actually. Next up, we have Galaxy Braver, also a level 8 warrior with 0 attack and 0 defense, and it special summons itself by revealing a Photon monster from your hand, and when it's special summoned by this effect, it will take on that monster's level. It also has another effect where when it's summoned, you can target a Galaxy monster in the grave in order to change its attack and defense to that monster's attack and defense, so it's not bad if you just need a beat stick, but it's mostly here to be an extender. Next up, we have Galaxy Soldier, who special summons himself from your hand by dropping a light attribute monster, and then when it's summoned, it searches you a Galaxy card. So, it's pretty good. It's mostly important because it's level 5, though, but we'll get to that later. Now we're jumping into our actual low-level monsters. We have Photon Thrasher, a level 4 warrior that special summons itself so long as you control no monsters on your field, and it cannot be normal summoned. Why would we run this at free? Because it's a good starter, and it gives us something for Photon Vanisher. Photon Vanisher special summons itself when there's a Galaxy or Photon on the field, and when it is special summoned, it allows you to search a Galaxy Eyes, which is pretty cool. It also has another effect it can use as Xyz material, which basically just gives the Xyz monster the effect of banishing any monster it destroys by battle. So, a little niche, but not awful. And lastly, we have the most important card in the deck. Yes, it is not Galaxy Eyes. It is Photon Orbital. It is a level 4 light machine with 500 attack, 2,000 defense. And it can equip itself from hand or field onto a Galaxy or Photon monster. It gives it 500 attack, makes it so that it has a little bit of battle protection. But what it does is it rotas Photon and Galaxy cards by sending itself equipped to the graveyard. And that's any Photon or Galaxy card. So basically, if you're running this, you can kind of make the excuse for running any Photon or Galaxy card. It's the best card in the deck, and you absolutely need it in order to run this deck. Last in our monster lineup, we have Galaxy Wizard, a spellcaster with 0 attack and 1,800 defense. It has 2 effects. One lets it double its level to 8. The other tributes itself to add a Galaxy card. So yeah, just a little bit more searching. So that's always pretty nice. It also has a kind of neat combo of Galaxy Soldier, where if you use Galaxy Soldier, discard it, you can just search another Galaxy Wizard. So that's a little bit of a neat play. Now for our spell trap lineup, we obviously had the 2020 revision, Foolish Burial, because graveyard setup is pretty nice, especially if you open up with a Galaxy Knight. We have Rhoda to search Thrasher or Vanisher, depending on whichever one we want. Then as far as our last generic card goes, we have Free Called by the Grave, because this deck does do a lot of searching, so you really have to be able to protect that. Our last cards are just kind of specifically Galaxy stuff, except for the trade end, which should be obvious. We are running a load of level 8 monsters, so yeah, it's good draw power, and you want a little graveyard setup with this deck anyways. But yes, we have 2 Photon Sanctuary, which just summons 2 Photon tokens to your field. They're both light attribute, and you're locked into light attributes for the turn, but that's pretty much fine, because outside of some Xyz monsters, everything we have is light attribute for the most part, so it's all good. Then we have Galaxy Expedition, which once per turn, if you control level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster, lets you special summon a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck in defense position. So yeah, that's mostly why Galaxy Soldier is good, because what you can do is special summon it by dropping the Galaxy Wizard, search the Galaxy Wizard, summon Galaxy Wizard, tribute it to add Galaxy Expedition, use Galaxy Expedition to get out a Galaxy-ized Photon Dragon or whatever else you want at the moment. So yeah, it's a really good card. It synergizes incredibly with the deck, and it's very searchable as well, so it's pretty nice. Our last main deck card is Galaxy Zero. It's kind of like a Foolish Burials for Photon and Galaxy monsters. The monster that it revives, though, cannot activate its effects, and it can't attack. And if this card leaves the field, the monster stays around, but the monster that you summoned with its attack drops to 0. So it's not an awful recovery card. It's not the best either. It's not the best either, but it is solid, and yeah, no, I kind of like it. I should probably actually be running, like, in place of these 2, maybe another Photon Sanctuary and maybe another Galaxy Expedition, but I don't know. I think that might be something worth testing in the future. Alright, but now for the extra deck, which is where things get important. So for starters, we have Nightmare Package, as well as a Boral Sword for OTKing purposes. Now let's go over the Galaxy Link monster real fast. Galaxy-ized Soul Flare Dragon. It's light, has the good airs with 2,000 attack, requires 2 light monsters, including a monster with 2,000 or more attack. So yes, you can make this off of Photon Sanctuary, which is kind of nice. When it's Link Summon, it lets you add a Photon or Galaxy monster from graveyard to hand. And once per turn, as a quick effect, you can discard a Photon and a Galaxy card, or discard just a Galaxy Eyes to target special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's an add back. It does do some slight disruption, and we're in Master Rule 5 technically now, as most people sort of agree to that, but it's a good card to add things back, especially because you do not often use your normal summon with this deck. Our other Galaxy cards are number 90, Galaxy-ized Photon Lord. We also have Starly's Photon Blast Dragon, and while it's kinda honorary, Titanic Hope and Draglubian. Let's go over number 90 first. So if it has a Photon card's materials, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it has a hard once per turn on each of its effects. The first lets you detach a material in order to negate a monster effect. The other lets you, losing words here, it lets you search a galaxy or Photon and add it to your hand, or put it under something as material. So it's pretty nice. It's a good disruption. It's a good card. You run it, and it's a rank 8, so it's easy to make. Now we'll go over Starliege. So it requires 2 level 4s. When it's Xyz summon, it lets you special summon a photon from your hand, ideally Galaxy Eyes. I think the thought process behind this one was special summon Photon Thrasher, special Photon Vanisher, add Galaxy Eyes, make Starlies, summon Galaxy Eyes that you just searched. I think that was the play, and then like you are able to normal summon Galaxy Knight at that point, make a rank 8, and then just go for plays. So if you open Thrasher, Vanisher, and Galaxy Knight, you basically have an OTK on your hands, but we'll get to that later. It protects monsters with 2,000 or more attack from card effects, and as a quick effect, it lets you detach a material from itself to target a Galaxy Eyes in your grave or banished and special it. So, good card. Wish it had 200 more attack, of course, so it could protect itself, but it's a good card, and it leads to a wacky OTK if you let it. We have Utopias here because lightning beats over things, yay. Then we have Titanic Hope. Once per turn, it slurps up a activated spell trap, or spell card, sorry, negating the activation, and by detaching a material, it can redirect attacks towards itself. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It also has another effect where it can gain attack because other Xyz monsters are destroyed, but we hardly ever use that. And now for our last card, which I am going to include with Numeron Dragon because they're kind of connected, Draglubian. So it requires 2 level 8 monsters, and it cannot be targeted, and it lets you attach a material from it to take 2 dragon numbers from your deck with different names, and accept itself, special summon 1, attach the other to it as material, and for the rest of the turn you cannot special summon other monsters or declare attack except with the special summon monster. So here's kind of the wacky play you can do with this. So make a rank 8. Pretty easy. You have Drag Viren. Ideally, you use the combo I said with Photon Starliege guy. Then you're able to summon Numeron Dragon. So at that point, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ranks on field. So you use Numeron Dragon's effect in order to make its attack 13,000. It cannot be targeted at that point because of Starliege. So yeah, at that point you're able to just sort of attack for game. It's actually kind of neat. It's a funny OTK. It rarely ever happens, but when it happens, it's pretty fantastic, I must say. Now for the side deck though, we have free kaijus because we love ourselves the sea turtle and it's a trading target. Dragulon because I don't know, dragons. I like to hate dragons sometimes too. Lightning Storm, obviously, in case we need to clear out some control stuff if we are going second. 2 Hyper Galaxy, which is a card we actually need to talk about because it's a newer card. So Hyper Galaxy lets you tribute 1 monster of 2,000 or more attack except a Galaxy Eyes. Then you target a monster your opponent controls of 2,000 or more attack and you tribute it. And if you do, you special a Galaxy Eyes from hand, deck, or grave. So it's a fun little disruption if you know your opponent's running a high attack point deck. So, I mean, you can definitely run it at 1 at any time, but I've noticed because everyone's playing that fancy Ultrageist these days, high attack points not nearly as common, so I chose to side it. We have 1 red reboot for those traps. We have the most powerful counter trap in the game, Tachyon Transmigration. Let me read what it does to you real fast, because it is genuinely the most powerful counter trap in the game. So if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, which you most likely will, it lets you negate the activations of your opponent's spell, traps, and monsters in the entire chain, and it shuffles back everything that was negated. So yeah, it shuffles back, non-targeting, negates entire chains, and it omni-negates, all because you controlled a Galaxy Eyes. So this is definitely more of a wacky, go first, sometimes try to go second a lot of the time variant, but if you want to play a serious version of this deck, run this. It's not searchable. which is terrible, but you run it free because it's so good. The only other card we have is free impermanence in case we ever need that hand trap action. But yeah, that is the whole deck, and if you're new here, we just go over a couple replays. I show you the deck's weaknesses, its strengths, so on, so forth, and all that good stuff. But yeah, all that being said, I'll see you guys in the first replay. Alright everyone, welcome to the first replay with Boss Legend 1223. We are Tab, as usual, and we're going first, and I said I hated this deck, and I am going to show you all why. So, if you cannot tell, this is a brick. We have literally nothing we can do with this hand. We don't have a way to get out Galaxy Eyes. We need Galaxy Eyes to get Afterglow on the field. We need a level 5 or higher Galaxy or Photon to use Galaxy Expedition. We need a monster on the field that's Galaxy or Photon to summon Photon Vanisher. So yeah, this hand is quite awful. It is very bad, and this is the problem with this deck. So when you brick, boy howdy do you fucking brick. I'll show you how long it takes me to get started with this hand. Just watch. As we do agree to the 2020 rules. So I can't do anything there. As you can see, I explained that, and our opponent just sets the Doppel Warrior, even though there are things that could have been done. I think I'm not sure. Is there like a Link Karibo in here? Because no, there's not a Link Karibo. He's playing Stardust, and he is a massive fool. If he had Boss Legend 1223, if you had played Link Karibo, you would have just gone the fuck off there, but you didn't, so that's your fault. But it's fine though, because we still can't do anything. So our opponent's just going to start going off. Obviously we go ahead and hit the Doppel Warrior because we don't want him getting tokens. So he's just going to go ahead and start making synchros, as you might expect him to do. The Weeping Idol tech, that's not something I'd seen recently, so that was actually kind of cool. I did like that. So he's gonna go ahead and just make a couple attacks. I think he could have gone even farther, right? He definitely could have gone farther, I think. I don't know, let's make sure I'm not just being the dumb. Let's make sure I am not being the dumb first, because that is that's a distinct possibility. Majestic Star, level 10. I guess he needed another. No, could you have made oh, I feel like, yeah, no, okay, so I don't know what he could have done, but he could have done something more, I think. Yeah, so it's our turn, and there's still nothing we can do. So we just kind of lose. And there's just a Fortune Fairy N on the field to laugh at us and mock us, and we deserve it. And that's the problem with this deck, and why I hate it. When you brick, there's nothing you can do. You don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! When you brick with this deck. Like, you can't even set pass. It is that bad. But now we're going to see the deck going off a little bit. I'll see you guys there. Okay, on to the second and last replay with Danio 13. And this is a much better hand, I must say. I am much more of a fan of this hand. And we are going first, so it's pretty good. One player agreed not to do the rules, so we're just going to have to deal with it. So we did reveal the orbital in order to get out our Braver. So we do have the level 4 on the field. We are going to go ahead and equip our orbital from hand. Go ahead and use it to search the Photon Vanisher. Special Vanisher. Vanisher is going to go ahead and search us a Galaxy Eyes, which we'll go ahead and trade in for to make the Soul Flare Dragon. Soul Flare is going to go ahead and add us the Galaxy Eyes back. We use trade in order to redump the Galaxy Eyes to try and go ahead and get our Afterglow out. So we're going to now special summon the Galaxy Soldier by dropping the Photon Orbital. Gives us the Galaxy Knight, which we are able to normal summon. We pull out the Galaxy Eyes from the grave. Then we are able to make the Photon Lord and attack position. Unfortunately, we didn't have a fantastic hand, so we couldn't go super beyond. And I am only realizing now that I definitely should have been running Infinity in this deck. And that is, well, I'm going to be frank, that's just my bad. I don't have any excuse for it. It's just my bad. But that's kind of what the deck can do if it opens decently enough. Now, unfortunately, our opponent does quit here after we do some negations, but it looks like he's playing like Time Thief Heraldic Beast, which is kind of neat, actually. I like that. But yeah, so basically we are just going to negate his Redoer, and unfortunately after that there's not much he could really do. So yeah, we would have been able to next turn just kind of go off because we did detach the Afterglow, which would have given us another Photon Dragon, so we could have made another rank 8 potentially. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole deck. Like I said, I am personally not a fan. Like, I've seen people who know what they're doing better play this. I still am just not thrilled by it. I just normally I love Xyz summoning. I'd even go so far as to say I think it's my favorite mechanic, like, in the whole game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But this deck's just not super interesting to me. I love the design, I love the art, but the play style is just, it's very meh. I mean, maybe I'm just playing it wrong. If I am, please let me know, and please let me know how I could play it better, I guess. But yeah. That all being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.